So there are traits that only truly successful business leaders have in common. It's an internal set of skills that enable these types of leaders to take the right actions at the right time. And as a result, with these traits, their businesses grow faster and stronger than everyone else. So in this video, let's talk about how great CEOs operate so you can identify where you're already excelling and what areas you can maximize your potential and become the leader your team and your business truly need you to be. So without further ado, let's dive in and change your dynamic as a CEO. By the way, if you don't know who I am, my name is Jesse Lane. I help contractors all across the globe systemize their construction businesses so they can scale with or without them on autopilot. So within Automation Blueprint, my coaching program, my team and I, we work with all kinds of CEOs across the world. And we've identified some of these top traits, these skill sets that you really need to have. And some of the CEOs actually transcend, like I have, into a founder role. So they actually bring on another CEO. And so, but you have to be able to manage that CEO. And even when you're hiring for that CEO, you need to know what traits that they should have, right? So the first one is that they've mastered the art of dealing with people. Maybe there are so many different groups of people and types of people that a CEO interacts with. Like it's a lot of different types of stuff. They could be handling clients or negotiating with new leads or dealing with a new subcontractor or a vendor, keeping employees happy or keeping employees accountable, communicating with the leadership team, right? The COO, the CTO, the CMO, like all the, whatever leadership team you have, or chief project manager, chief estimator, stuff like that. And just dealing with owners, architects, employees, and subs, like it's all, the list is endless, right? Great CEOs know how to talk to these different types and groups of people in the right way, because each group really does require a different approach if you want your message to really resonate with those people, right? So when you think about it, it becomes abundantly clear that business really is a people game. Like whenever you're selling something, right? You're not just selling the product, you're also selling yourself, right? And this isn't just true for clients, it applies to employees as well, right? When it comes to igniting your team with your mission and your vision and your core values and all the stuff that, makes your business who your business is. Communicating that to people is super important. And great CEOs are also really great listeners, right? They take the time to understand people's interests, their struggles, their desires, and they can read situations correctly. For example, to figure out if an employee needs more certainty and reassurance, or if they just need a little pep in their step, right? They know how to communicate that in a way that's empathetic, but also effective, right? So understanding human psychology and how people make decisions, it really helps. And it's all related to marketing and sales and negotiating and leading people and everything else combined with that, right? But they're also skilled at small talk, friendly banter, using it to make people like them and building really great relationships. So from there, they know how to build trust and strengthen the relationship, how to nurture it and turn it into a very solid alliance. Okay, the second one is being super protective of their own time. It's true that great CEOs lead by example, but there is a common misconception about what that actually means. I think especially in construction, there's this idea of leading by example means that you have to get your hands dirty, right? But that is why so many business owners in this industry get stuck on the tools. And that is a huge problem, my friends. I talk about that all the time. You don't want to get stuck in the tools. It's not your job to be swinging the hammer, but I digress. Because really the truth is every time you're swinging the hammer, you're neglecting much higher leverage tasks that really need your attention, right? That's why great CEOs are extremely protective of their time. There's a point in every business owner's journey where you have to let go of the idea that getting your hands dirty is somehow noble or lead by example and you need to be the one strapping on your tool belt, And when I say tool belt, I'm not just referring to a physical tool belt. It could be an emotional and mental tool belt when it comes to building your own project schedules or estimating all your own projects. You get the idea. In fact, it's so easy to get pulled into the day-to-day operations than it is to focus on higher leverage tasks, because setting the boundaries to protect your time takes a lot of courage, forethought, and bigger picture thinking, right? It's not as easy as just starting to swing a hammer, right? Because anyone can do that once they know how to swing it. So how can you protect your time but avoid being in the weeds and still lead by example? By being someone your team can truly look up to, right? Someone who truly embodies the company's core values, mission, vision, all that stuff. The goal is to communicate how you want others to communicate, right? You want to show them these things that you want them to have. Lead by example through your behavior, by setting the frame for your company, and just by holding others accountable through your own consistency, Leading by example is not about taking the same actions specifically as all your employees. this, right? Because your roles are different, right? Like you don't need to lead by example for your estimator and you need to do all estimating. No, that's not the point. It's about how you take your actions, right? If you're doing the same work as your employees, it defeats the entire purpose of having a team in the first place. Obvious. Delegation isn't just about hiring more hands. It's about freeing your time from the tasks others can handle for you so you can focus on what you as the business owner can really only do. Time is your most valuable currency. The third one, my friend, is taking care of your people, right? A good CEO leads from a place of genuine care for their people, almost like the leader of a tribe, right? They really make sure that the work process for their employees is as smooth, easy to understand, making sure it's enjoyable for your team, right? You want people to love working for you. They want their team to have clarity and certainty about what they're doing each and every day, right? Great systems and processes. I talk about it a lot. A great CEO understands the output of their team is to a large degree their own responsibility. It really is ultimately their responsibility to lead and manage them and provide the systems and everything. It's their job to give them the tools and the systems and the knowledge to be productive and successful in their role, right? So here are some questions that a really great CEO would ask, like, what do my team members need? What can I do to make their lives easier, right? Maybe even write these down. What can I give them to help them work faster without having to work harder? What unnecessary steps are they dealing with every single day that they shouldn't have to? When a CEO takes this approach, the experience of working for him or her is incredibly positive. And once a CEO starts thinking this way, employees start feeling like their work is more effortless and they can see the tangible results of what they're working on, right? I think a lot of times employees can feel unappreciated, but when you make your team members feel seen and valued, and when you generally care about their well-being and like how easy it is for them to get their job done, and that they have the tools and the information that they need to do their job effectively, it really transforms the whole work environment. It transforms your whole company. That level of care and support is probably one of the top traits that sets a great CEO apart from the rest. The fourth one is taking leaps of faith. Calculated leaps of faith, right? The willingness to take risks is essential for CEOs and business owners because growth and innovation, it really requires stepping into the unknown. Like I've dealt with this a lot in my own journey. There's no successful business was ever built on safety and complacency, right? Every industry leader, and if you are one, you know this, can point to so many moments where they made super bold and outspoken decisions, a lot of times with incomplete information, which ultimately compelled their company forward. You'll never have 100% of the information. You might only have 60%, but sometimes you just got to move with it, right? If you have, you're taking a calculated risk. But these great leaps of faith definitely come with massive risk for failure, but they also have a really amazing potential for groundbreaking success. So and hopefully, I've learned this in my life. I've made 3/4 of my decisions, probably, I'm just being a little dramatic, but have been failures, right? But then that other quarter, it just wipes out the failures because of the massive upside potential of taking huge, hopefully calculated risks. So great CEOs are also not afraid of making mistakes because they operate from a mindset where mistakes are not the enemy, but they're invaluable teachers. They look at mistakes not as failure, but feedback, right? You want to take your failures and get the feedback from those failures because each mistake provides brand new insights that help refine the strategies so the CEO can be so much better in the future, right? Success comes through failing forward. You kind of have to fail to get ahead. It's kind of a conundrum. So just almost expect it. And if it goes well, it's whoa, that was cool. Great CEOs are also not afraid to learn new skills and transform themselves. And they're also always looking for ways to evolve themselves, right? Through these failures, they can be improving their leadership skills. Which can mean transforming. The greatest opportunities are always waiting outside of comfort zones. So just remember that. By the way, if you are enjoying this video, leave a little like below and a comment for the YouTube algorithm so we can grow this channel. Appreciate it. The fifth one is humility. This is an incredibly important trait because almost every entrepreneur or CEO is well equipped with the opposite, right? An ego. And that's not necessarily totally a bad thing. Without it, we might not be doing what we're doing as entrepreneurs. It could be a powerful driver, but it has to be balanced with a very healthy dose of humility. A huge reason that this balance is a great CEO needs to know their strengths, but also their weaknesses. Because once they recognize their weaknesses, they can hire people whose strengths fill those gaps. That's the core of entrepreneurship right there, delegation. But the first step in knowing your weaknesses is being honest within yourself and acknowledging where you as a CEO might fall short. Another way humility is vital for CEOs is in owning up to their role when things don't run smoothly. Like if mistakes happen, if projects go sideways, if customers impacted negatively, a great CEO has the courage to ask, what role did I play in this? What could I have done differently, even if it was your team that made the ultimate mistake? This doesn't mean that everything is your fault necessarily directly, but it shows that you're willing and objectively assess situations, draw lessons, calculate, and make adjustments. Maybe there's a process that's broken that you wrote. Maybe there's something else that needs to be adjusted or an expectation of an employee. So this kind of humility is key to continuous improvement as a CEO. And here's another big one. A great CEO has the humility to take advice and learn from people who might be a little bit farther along in the path. They understand that seeking guidance can save them years of banging their head against the wall, and in doing that, it'll massively speed up the progress of their success, and it'll be much more quick. One of the smartest moves any leader can make is to learn from those that have already figured out, like those people ahead of them. So even though being a CEO means being a leader and one that is ultimately calling the shots, a truly great CEO is comfortable and even grateful being in the role of being the student. Therefore, humility can take you a very long distance. The sixth one is decisiveness. A lot of times, any decision is better than no decision at all because great CEOs are decisive. When they see something that makes sense to them or discover a promising opportunity or know that they should take a certain step, right? They don't waste their time overthinking, they act fast. I just really want to emphasize that CEOs need to move. Don't be like 10 or 20% figured out, but if you're 50%, 60%, 70% figured out on a decision, make the move, bro. If you're comfortable, do it. You're never going to have 100% of the information. In business, there's a certain boldness required in business, a trust in your own abilities and your own decision making. This is important to really know yourself and learn from your failures, like I talked about a couple minutes ago. Be willing to deal with the failure and just be ready to learn from it, right? Don't be afraid to make mistakes, because fear of making mistakes can really paralyze decision making, analysis paralysis. This is one of the most common reasons for overthinking and things not getting done, because you're just not decisive. The seventh part is they need to know their numbers. There's a lot of contractors out there, construction business CEOs, they focus on revenue, right? Top line revenue, but if you're not keeping an eye on your net profit, your gross profit, your overhead, your cash flow, you're setting yourself up for massive trouble. If you don't understand your true costs of running your business, like your overhead every single month, could be losing a lot of money without even realizing. This is a quick way for fast growing companies to go broke. I want to be clear, like you don't need to be a CPA or some crazy accountant or whatever, but you do need to think like a CEO when it comes to your numbers. It starts with knowing your break-even point for every project, for your company as a whole, understanding your overhead and keeping a close eye on the cash flow. And speaking of cash flow, there's a little quick tip for you if you're a contractor, really any business. Bill monthly. Don't bill for percentage of completion of the project, because what if something gets delayed? Your money's held up. What if you're missing that one little screw, that special order, or the HVAC equipment, or an electrical power box? And what if you can't get that stuff for a bunch of months, right? It's going to hold up your cash flow. And by the way, Structure helps you with all that stuff. You can bill monthly. So check out structure.com if you want to get inside the all-in-one platform with AI features coming. It's like really, really exciting stuff, guys. Structure is going to take over the entire industry. So might as well hop on now at the lowest price it's ever going to be at this point in time. Structure.com. You can get your free account for free and check it out. Try it for as long as you want. So I hope that was helpful for you to become a much better CEO or hire a CEO, whatever you want to do with your life. So anyway, guys, I hope this video was helpful. Leave a little like down below, sign up for Structure, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.